crazy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Unraveling Podcast. Hello, Alyssa.
Hello. How's it
It's
going?
been a minute.
It has
I'm
been a
good.
while.
A little under the weather, or at least I
Yeah,
sound it. I feel
you
good,
sound it.
but
Yeah, I
but
feel like you've been sick for a little bit.
yep, we've just been going through it over here for like a
You
month.
really have. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
feel
you
you.
guys
I
were just
know.
sick too, so it's
I know
whatever
our
they're spraying.
skies are disgusting. Every time we're outside, I'm just like, why? Like, why is this our life? So we are all about TRS over here. So I'm always like giving us all TRS after we're outside.
I literally just told Alex we need to order more TRS because I
Who knows
swear
what
my
they're spraying?
kids are we haven't been eating the best because we were traveling and everything.
Yeah.
And then like our sleep's been off and the snow came and I swear my kids are losing their minds and I'm like, they
Uh-huh.
need something. We need to work on
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this anymore.
I know. And then kids are crazy. Like, I always talk about my daughter. Whenever she's sick, she's literally in the day, like, "Ah," goes to sleep,
Yeah.
can't sleep. Oh,
I know. I
that's
don't
her
know
life
what
right
they're
now.
spraying, but it's ridiculous.
I know.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I hate it. We want to get into this. I really want to get into this. Jaimee was
I
telling me
know.
about a documentary you watched on Prime, and I want to watch it
Hmm.
about chemtrails.
Yeah, you all should watch it. It's nothing like any of us wouldn't guess, but
Yeah.
it's just like more proof and just makes a lot of sense. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
all right. Well,
All
today we're
right.
going to talk about buildings and all the things that go along with that. So,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it.
All
You
right.
want me to pull it up or you got it?
I'll pull it up.
When we don't get photos with deliberately altered, whited out skies from the past, they reveal that they were filled with the titans of the skies, airships,
Mm.
and oftentimes a lot more than just one in the photos. And of the hundreds, if not thousands, of airship photos I've accumulated in my own personal collections over the years, it's the ones flying over these old world cities that'll always take my breath away. Being able to see so much detail well over 100 years ago in these photos are also nothing short of amazing. Better than most iPhones can take today. I just love looking through all the little details of all these old world cities these airships traveled over. But here's the real crazy part. Look at how many decades, well over almost a century, from the mainstream timeline of how long airships were in the skies before the Wright brothers ever took their first flight at Kitty Hawk. Now look at those first fixed-wing aircraft. The few years after Kitty Hawk, the few decades after Kitty Hawk. And look at the airships that were several decades older. The amount of technology, well-built engineering that went into them. The amount of metal flying in that sky. Long before the rickety wooden fixed-wing aircrafts came along, made out of flimsy wood and cloth like somebody stole their mother's bed sheets off the clothesline. They had an abysmal safety rating long after airships were intentionally grounded. They had to be taken out for the elites, the parasites, to maximize profits. It was never about safety or reliability. Question everything, friends.
Mm.
Until next time.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Airships always trip me
I
out and
think
I
they're
always
so
forget about
cool.
them.
Yeah. It's like he was saying in the beginning, like those pictures that they have from
Mm-hmm.
the sky and all the
Mm-hmm.
buildings, like the quality of them, the detail of them. And this was like a camera that long ago, first of all. Weird.
Yeah.
Like that's already
Yeah.
weird. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I just think they're so cool. And it's like, I think it's so interesting that's like, we have, like us, our time, we grew up with blimps. And that
Mm-hmm.
was like, cool. And it's funny because we don't have those anymore. I think I saw one in like the last like 10 years. Did you
Yeah.
ever
The
see them?
last time I saw one was when I was at the beach, I think, or something.
Yeah. I guess like growing up, we always saw them at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
But I've only seen them, like, one other time. I think it was in
Yeah.
Texas,
That's why
but
when I
maybe it's in
first
Florida.
saw these airships, I didn't even know what their point was, 'cause I was like, "We've
Yeah,
always
we
had
have
those."
those. Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
knowing now that it was like a cruise ship in the air
Mhm.
is what's crazy, and that, like, they were fueled by these buildings with the free energy. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Which is
interesting
crazy
because
because
you,
sorry,
like,
go
see
ahead.
the they'll be, like, docked on the top, like they were charging there.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
and
it's
that's
like
also where they'd get in too.
yeah, so it's like, what kind of energy did these people have? Like, clearly it was so much better than
Yeah.
ours.
Yeah, that's why the Hindenburg disaster is like I mean, it's dumb for so many reasons because it's like they say it was from a hydrogen leak, I think. I wrote it
Mhm.
somewhere. Yeah, hydrogen leak or whatever, but it's like it was all used with free energy and then it just blew up,
Mhm.
you know? And then, like, it said when I was, like, looking up stuff about it, it was talking about that it was like, specifically, they were recording this event and they had audio on the radio of this event, and it's like, isn't it convenient that all these, like, major events that are, like, kinda, like, traumatizing because people died on it, supposedly 35, I think, people or something.
Uh-huh.
It's like
Yeah.
they just happen to be filming those events so that people are traumatized into things, you know,
Yeah,
and then
that's
it's like
very true.
people were too scared to even use this transportation anymore because,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, one blew up, so we're not gonna
Yeah.
use this transportation," you know, so, like, they it was all planned,
Oh,
obviously.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're
I also
so
like
interesting.
the vanilla skies. We talked about this a little bit, and we're gonna talk about it today, but, like, that was always, like, my explanation for why, like, how they used to edit or, like,
Mhm.
what's the word I'm looking for? Photoshop?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that was how they Photoshop, but I'm, like, convinced now that AI has been like, I know that my lunch break said it was patented and, like, I don't know, I
It's
can't
like the
remember the
50s?
date he gave, but I think that it's been around a lot longer than that, so it's like, who's to say all these old pictures that we see weren't originally AI or something,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I
like
definitely
that's one
think
thing I
that
wanna
too.
get good at. You know how they have those, like, you can, like people who are really good with Photoshop and all that, they can, like, decipher or they have, like,
Mhm.
programs where you can decipher, but it's like if they are the ones who held the oldest
Yeah.
version of AI, like shoot, my light went out, then I don't think that, like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
we'd be
I
able
know
to
it.
detect it.
Right. Yeah, I think it's very weird. I don't know, just so many weird things and, like, so many questions about our
Mhm.
history.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we're not even taught about airships blows my mind. Like, we
Yeah,
never
crazy. So many of these things is like, why have we never heard about
why
this?
couldn't you have just taught you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
if you don't want people to question, then maybe you should have went over all these things with us in
Mhm.
school because then
Yeah.
maybe we wouldn't have thought about it, but you just made
Yeah.
everything like, I don't know,
It
like,
made
I'm
it
not gonna
more,
teach you
mysterious because then you hear about it and you're like, "Wait, what?"
you're like,
Like
"Why
the
didn't I
orphan
learn
trains.
this?"
I mean, maybe you remember learning about I don't remember learning
No.
about that in high school at
Even okay,
all.
this is totally off topic, but, like, the Bolshevik Revolution, why weren't
Yeah.
we taught that? Like, there's just, like, all these
Especially you and I went to a Christian school.
know. So I'm just like, the fact that you're not teaching these things is alarming.
Mhm.
I am now questioning so hard because you're trying to,
Mhm.
like, keep these things under wraps so that we don't ever
Yeah.
hear about them. And then
Yeah.
when we
Makes it
do
way
start
more
asking
sketchy.
about them, it's like your explanations are dumb and don't even
They're
make
not
sense of,
adding
like,
up. Yeah.
no, like, nothing's working here. So
Yeah.
clearly there's more to the story that you didn't want us to know. So we'll keep
Yeah.
going. And then when you question, they're
Nuts.
like, "How dare you question these things?"
Yeah. I mean, even, like, we were talking about the mudfloods, and the thing is you can see it. Like, on my trip, I was just telling Alyssa that one of the cathedrals that I visited, it's literally on a slope, and as you go
Mhm,
up, you can tell that it's just been buried, like, you're not gonna build it that way, and it was a high slope, so by the time you get up to, like, the end of the building,
mhm,
a lot of it is underground,
mhm.
and that is just not normal. It's like,
No.
obviously people build basements and things, but it's just like, this clearly was a building, like, basements are different because the window isn't, it's not built underground. You could tell
Yeah,
that it they were trying to dig out these windows.
I know,
And
it's
it's just
so
so I
weird.
wish I didn't actually save that video that I had of that one, but let me show you this particular one.
It's
We
just
are
like
gonna do
all of the
probably
story that they
yeah,
give
that's the
us are
thing.
just
Yeah.
nonsense.
I think that's what bothers me is people will be like, "Oh, we could do that today if we wanted to." And it's like the point we're trying to make isn't necessarily that we couldn't replicate it today. It's more so the holes in the stories that they give and the
Yeah.
time frames that they give.
I mean, even with the
And
mud
we'll get into
floods,
that.
like,
Mhm.
they don't give a good explanation for the mud floods,
Mm-mm.
and it's like,
Nope.
you just expect us to not care because you don't have an answer for us? That's what I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
you just think if you give us any kind of answer, we have to be like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with that."
But for
You
the
know?
mud floods, they don't even try. They
They
basically are
don't
like, "You're crazy."
Yeah, that's
And
what
it's
I'm
like,
saying,
"We're
it's like no
crazy,
matter
we could
what
visibly see it."
I know. No matter what they say, like, I don't know, they're just never gonna give you anything that makes sense.
Nope. They just want you
Mm-mm.
to look like a fool and feel like a fool so that you will stop questioning
I know.
things. Okay, here. I'll screen share our Instagram because I know that I have a video. Okay, everybody, sorry. Let me get my act together here. There's so many since my trip that, wow. All right, here it is, everybody.
It's crazy.
So that was literally the backside of it. And it was so far up. I wish I had the picture of how far up it went. I just I
The
couldn't even believe it as I was walking up. First of all, I was hurting my legs as I was trying to walk up that hill, and I was like, "This is high.
That's
This
so
is
interesting
ridiculous."
because that's how the Capitol building was in, Tennessee when we saw it last
Mhm.
year. It's on this
Mm.
massive, massive hill, and it
Yeah.
yeah, seeing them in person is unreal, like, how big they are and how high up they go, but yeah, it's the
Mhm.
same thing, it's like it went so high, and so when I was, like, watching stuff and he was talking about, like, on my lunch break, he's talking about the scaffolding that they put around
Mhm.
the buildings, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're fixing them," or, "Oh, we're building them," and it's like, "No, you're literally painting." Because he made a good point in my lunch break, he was like, "Okay, say they're building this building. These materials are so heavy and big,
Mhm.
so you expect us to believe you're just gonna carry these the men are gonna carry this all the way up the scaffolding to get it to the top? Like,
Mhm.
no, you have to have a crane or something. Like,
Yeah.
these are like marble, you
Yeah,
know?
that's what most of the stories don't make sense because it's so,
It's, like,
there's so
impossible.
many inconsistencies, yeah.
Like,
Unless you had giants then that
can we
you don't know
redo
stuff.
this? Like, let's have a life experiment, and you're
Yeah.
gonna redo everything you're telling us that they did, and see if we
Mhm.
can actually do that, like you're saying, or even getting the building materials from hundreds of miles away being
Yeah.
pulled by horse and buggy in
I
the
think
snow.
that's the thing that people aren't understanding. Like I said earlier, it's like we're not saying it wouldn't be possible to make these, but they're telling us it's a 2-year time frame they're typically building them. It's during
Mhm.
a time when famine and pestilence is at an all-time high.
Mhm.
The mortality rate is at an all-time high. Men only live between like the average lifespan was between 30 and 35. So if those women and children aren't building these things,
No.
right? And it's so if the men are dying that young,
And
they're not in a good state to begin with. Even if they're at 35, they're probably not doing very well if most of these men are
no.
dying at that age. And
And
they
I'm
didn't
pretty
have
sure that they
supplies.
said that it was a lot of prisoners that helped build these things because they needed workers. I'm pretty sure I've heard that
Hmm.
too. So it's like if you have people who are prisoners, they don't care. They're just trying to
Mm-mm.
get their job done and get out of there. It's like
Yeah.
they always talk about how there's no mess ups, like they're perfect. These buildings
Mhm.
are literally like pristine. And
Mhm.
we're just I don't know, like, all these people, "Oh, it's their first time they're ever building anything." It's like,
Yeah.
"You expect me to believe this?" Like, logically, if we use our common sense, that's not making any sense.
Yeah. I mean, even it's just you were talking about the fires and we know the fires are not burning this stone. So it's like there's only one of two things happening. They're burning any material like books and things that are within the building, or they're just using it as an excuse so that they can rebuild. And then after they rebuild, then they can be like, oh, we built this.
Mhm.
So it's their way. But like most of these buildings, if you look at their like cornerstone thing, most of
Mhm.
them say founded.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you building them? You know, so it's like the wording in a lot of these things is the key, is like, that's what's crazy to me is the wording.
Yeah, I think with the fires, okay, so I kind of like
Mhm.
mentioned on what our last one, I think, about how many
Mhm.
great fires there were. I spent so much time trying to find this information. Okay. I put in to like Chat GPT how many
Mhm.
great fires were there in the 1800s. It literally was like, "Oh, this is really hard to find historically. There's only 10." Okay. But then I would be like, "Well, wasn't there a fire in Fort Worth?" "Oh, yes, there was a fire in Fort Worth." "Oh, wasn't there a fire in this?" "Oh, yes, there was a fire." So I literally and I went on 2 different, like, AI sites to, like, ask, and they both gave me the same
Mhm.
answers. So I thought that was really weird. And then I was watching the My Lunch Break this morning about the Great Fires, and
Yeah.
he just was sitting there typing like Great Fire of the City, Great Fire. I mean, I wrote down like probably 15 or 20 cities that he just and it's
But there
like,
wasn't that many
but there
according to
wasn't that many,
ChatGPT.
And then I was looking up too. So it was, remember how I was talking about how there was that fire and there was no deaths and then they
Mhm.
changed
Yeah.
it? It was New York. So New York, it said there was the Great Fire of New York, whatever, 1835. And it was funny because I put in ChatGPT, I was like, was there a fire that or
Mhm.
that was this fire, they said there was no deaths and then recently changed it. And it was like, yes, in 2025, it went from 0 deaths to 2 deaths. And it's like, what?
So suddenly you discovered 2
They discovered.
bodies?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, it's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
It's
It's
wild.
because they know we're catching on, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
good. I lost my train of thought, but shoot.
Um, yeah, but and then it's interesting because he talks about a lot about the fires that they and I think this totally makes sense. So it is interesting, and I've said it in the last one, how they'll have the same names. They'll all have
Mhm.
the same names. And it's like,
Mhm.
you couldn't come up with some more creative names. Okay, whatever. But
Yeah.
and how they'll have like, oh, this one burned down, this one burnt down, this one burnt down.
Mhm.
So now it looks like, oh, it was just built in the 1900s or whatever.
Mhm.
And then so he was just saying like it's like a nod to everybody who's in charge of like these are the buildings that we need to watch
Mhm.
out for. And I think that totally
Yes.
makes sense.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think
Yeah,
it's all so crazy.
it is. There's just the amount of inconsistencies, and especially watching my lunch break, because I think it's easy to be like, because even in particular, like, let's just go to, let me pull up. I went to the Utah State Capitol,
Mhm.
and they said this was built in 1912, which, okay, maybe it was. I will say that out of all the buildings I've been to, this one story, like, there was no, the only inconsistencies weren't so much in the stories, like, there was no fire or anything like that, um, but, like, the particular builder, I should have wrote down his name, but he like, so I was looking him up, and it said that this was built between 1912 and 1916, I think,
Mhm.
and the first building it says that he worked on, he came from Germany and came to America. He won a contest, of course, to build this.
Of
And then I was
course.
looking up some of the other things that he's built. And it says he worked on this like insane building, which I don't think he was the architect for. He was just helping. But
Mhm.
he would have been 16 years old. And then during the time he's supposed to be working on this Capitol building in Utah, he's
Mhm.
also credited for helping with a building, I think in 1914, which so it was built between 1912 and 1916 in Utah, but in 1914 he was also credited with helping build a building in Europe. And
Okay.
it's like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, how's that possible? Then I was looking up, like, just to make sure that I wasn't crazy.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, well, in the 1900s, maybe they had more power tools and things. This is what they had in that year. Let me pull it up.
'Cause I think the first power tool was 1895, but that's probably, like, nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's probably,
So,
like, so basic.
so by 1910, they had portable electric drills, electric sanders, and concrete machinery, like, just to mix the concrete. But
Mm.
when you see, like, I wish I could take you all to see the Capitol. I've been to a few Capitol buildings now, and I think this one was the most overwhelming. It was huge. And to see these columns that are clearly, like, full, like, they're not, like, pieces put together, it's one piece.
I want to go to this now.
Like, how Alyssa, it is crazy, and it's so beautiful because it's on top of, a hill, and so it, like,
Mhm.
overlooks all of Salt Lake City. It is really beautiful. So let me show you a few of these, and then I'll show you the construction photos and why I think AI might be involved in
Hmm.
these. Okay,
Okay.
so that's me. Look how tiny. I
That's
mean, I'm not the
wild.
tallest person in the world. I'm, like, 5'4",
But still.
which is average, but and that's not even, like, to the tippy top. You guys, it was one of those, like, such an overwhelming moment
Yeah.
because it's just so huge.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see if I can click through on here to other ones. Nope. I guess I could play on there, but I'll get better at this. Now that I know this is exactly how it works, I'll just, like, make slideshows of each of the buildings.
Yeah.
But here's another little bit of a close up. Can you see that one still or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me reshare this real quick. I mean, that's just the top, but I just can't get over the domes. Every single one I go to, like, look at that detail. You can't even see it because it's like
Seriously,
really
like,
blurry.
okay, like, I just always, like, I'm putting myself in this time when they're building
Mhm.
this. And there's no cranes or, like,
Mhm.
anything to get that up there.
Yeah,
How in the
that's
world
what's crazy.
are they getting that up there?
Yeah, we just
It
told you guys exactly the tools that they had, and none of them mentioned a crane of any sort.
N no, there's, like, no way to get that up there unless men are carrying it, and I don't
Mhm.
get how I no, literally, like, how would men get that up there?
Mhm.
They couldn't.
Yep. They couldn't. I know. It just
It's
doesn't
impossible.
it doesn't add up.
No. So
Okay, this is now I took a picture of this, but let me clarify that this was not saying, like, this building was from the millennial reign. This is a time capsule that they added been, like, somewhere within the, Capitol building. You could see this
Uh-huh.
picture?
Yeah.
Okay. But I just thought it was so interesting when I'm looking at the building and it says millennial time capsule, and it's like it's
That is
just can
interesting.
like, just an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, like
This is the inside, like, almost like they're putting it in your
yeah.
face, which we know they have to
That's
do,
what
you
it
know?
seems like. Yeah.
Yeah, they always have to tell us
Yeah.
so that we like, it's just crazy because they have to tell us so that technically we're in agreement that we know what they're actually saying, you
Mm.
know? This is the
Mhm.
inside. I had a picture of my kids in the middle, but I didn't wanna show them on here, but they were
Yeah.
like a tiny little ant down there,
Oh my gosh.
like, just so
Crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, those
And just, like,
buildings
these
are
are
amazing.
completely full, like, these marble, columns, like, what? And this is what I think is so crazy. So they built this huge, I mean, Alyssa, it's massive. It's and they're
Mhm.
building, like, other buildings to it that look similar but not identical. But
Mhm.
I was trying to look up during that time, like, so they actually had a pretty large population during that time. I wanna say when they first started, I wanna say it was, like, 30,000 and it was increasing. But, like, this is used for politics. So the amount of politicians they had, I was looking it up, and from let's see, from, like, 1910, so I gave them even a big chunk. I said from 1910 to 1920, about how many politicians were in the state or in this, like, Salt Lake City area and coming in. And obviously, like, these state buildings, I'm sure politicians from around the world also come sometimes,
Mhm.
but there was only 20 within that 10-year time
Hmm.
period. And it's like,
Mhm.
you need a building this huge to fit 20, like, political
Hmm.
leaders.
Yeah, that is
Why?
very weird. I mean, those buildings are crazy, like, because the ones we went in, we had our kids, you have your kids.
Mhm.
If they, like, are barely talking, it's, like, echoing because it's just
Mhm.
huge and, like, the materials that it's made out of, it just makes it's just so crazy. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like,
Majestic. It's so
it
majestic.
yeah, there's just, like, no words to describe it, it's
Mm,
so crazy. So,
mhm.
like, the fact that they just think oh, yeah, this is just what they built.
Mhm.
Give me a break.
It's also, like, aren't these, like, they're supposed to be for the people technically, right? I know it's for, like, politics, but, like, we get to go in because we are
Yeah.
the government,
Yeah.
technically, even though they don't treat us like it. But, like, so we're in the building, and I'm just looking at the tour, like, guide thing,
Mhm.
and it says, like, the gold room. And we were looking forever, and I finally found it. I realized, like, the doors were closed. I was like, "That's why we can't see in there." And so I go to, like, open it, and it's, like, stuck, and then a guy like, literally within the crack, I see a guy come in front of it. He's like, "You can't come in here." And I was
Oh,
like,
whoa.
"Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "It's on the tour paper." And he's just like, "It's closed for a special party." And I'm just like, "Okay."
Oh, I'm very curious now what's in there.
Right? I was like, "And what kind of party are you having in here?" "Excuse me, sir, but
Weird.
I should have been like, "I am the government, so let me in."
Excuse me, let me in.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh,
gosh,
that's
okay.
wild.
I know, I was so tripped out. Okay, here is the pretty much only, um, photo of construction, and this is like I said, this one actually looks like more is going on than typical, but the problem that I'm having is a lot of it, you could see is, like, buried again, right? It looks like it's
Mhm.
buried in there.
Mhm.
And what I noticed so then as I'm on my trip, we're driving for hours, so I'm researching all the different capitals and their construction photos, and a lot of them, this is the only part. Can you see my mouse moving too?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I just didn't wanna point to things and it didn't make sense. So, like, the dome is, like, one of the main things missing on all of them, and then I started thinking because I had just watched the My Lunch Break
Uh-huh.
video, like, a lot of them have the dome missing, and I'm like, "What if he said AI existed before we even thought, and what if it existed before the patent was even made?" And it's like,
Mhm.
what if they just put in all these different state capitals and, like, said construction, like, make it a construction photo, and the easiest thing was just to remove the domes from all of them,
Yeah.
because it's like, why do all of them have, like and they all look like they're underground, so it's like, it could have been a real photo. Maybe they found this, and maybe it was a little bit, like, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, broken down, and they were just adding to it.
Mhm.
I don't know, but it's just like,
Mhm.
none of it really makes sense, and like I said, with the amount of, like, politicians, why do we need something that big? We didn't really have the resources or the money, and what's crazy is this is on a hill, and the nearest, train, um, what do we call those? Why am I blanking?
Train station?
Train station, thank you.
That's what okay.
I'm so sick. The nearest train station was, like, it's pretty far enough that it's, like, even if you brought in the materials on the train, you'd have to
Mhm.
have a horse carry huge marble slabs up this hill on a
Mhm.
buggy? No, there's no way. So then I was looking that up,
Yeah.
and they did supposedly build train tracks that went all the way up the hill,
Okay.
and they got it up that way. But even that, it's like,
Okay.
that's more money. You didn't have the resources to begin with.
And,
Like
like, okay, a lot of these buildings in the early 1900s are built during the Great Depression where
mhm.
nobody has money, yet
People are
you have
sick out of their minds.
yeah, we're gonna build these grand buildings because we
Yeah,
need them during the Great Depression.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know, it's just like all their answers are so dumb, but
Mhm.
that's crazy.
Yeah, look at
I
this one. This is Texas state
I want
capital.
I did
Same
go there,
thing,
but we didn't get to go
inside.
inside. Yeah, we just
Again,
went to the outside.
the dome's missing, and, like, do you notice, like, all these windows, it looks like it's buried in some areas, like, over here, right?
Yeah.
And then you see all these windows that look like they've had rocks thrown at them. Like, this
Yeah.
building had been sitting for a while, and people were
Mhm.
throwing rocks, and
Mhm.
now
It does look
they're
like that,
like
yeah.
and it's like it's hard with old photos because I feel like a lot of them look like, almost like paintings, you know?
They do. Mhm.
So it's like what maybe it's partial picture and then they paint to add in things. I mean, we don't know what they
I know.
did,
I just think it's
And
so crazy because it's like, mm, that's not that long ago.
yeah,
Like 1930, like,
no.
they're so it's like our grandparents, their parents you know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
we're not that far off in generations, so why is,
Yeah.
like nobody telling us what's actually going on here.
That's why, like, if there was someone I could talk to who lived through it and saw it
I
being built, I
know.
would believe it. But, like, look at this one. I
Yeah.
can't it's not on here. This is a construction photo. What's being
What's under
constructed?
construction? The ground by it?
Yeah, it's like
The dirt?
there's some horses there. That's it. I don't understand. And again, like if you look at this, I mean, that could just be a different material being used down here, but it looks like it has been uncovered, you know?
Yeah, it does.
Which would make sense because these are Roman buildings. So, like the cathedrals, we believe, well, I guess they'd be building, they'd be buried too. But like the Roman buildings, I think would even be more covered because they would have
Yes.
gone through the
The
tribulation.
tribulation. Yeah, right.
And this is the other thing that I don't think a lot of people think about. Hold on, here's one more state building. I just need you guys to all see how they all are like when you look for the construction photos, they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all
Like
the
there's
same.
barely look at this. There's just scaffolding. That's it. And look at these shacks by it.
That's the worst. That's the worst. Oh, look at what we could build, but we're gonna live in these little tiny
Yeah.
shacks. Like,
Yeah.
what?
No way. No
You know what
way.
I think is so odd? Like, when we were first looking into all this, I think it was in that Lost History of Flat Earth video, and he's showing all these grand buildings, and then
Mm-hmm.
all the ground around them is just dirt, and
Mm-hmm.
they're in their buggies. It's
Yeah.
like, that doesn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
Also, it is interesting how the dirt is all, I don't know. He It's like, it's almost like they got, this is something that my lunch break has also said. It's almost like, okay, so with all these great fires, they got rid of all the evidence they wanted to get rid of, burned
Mm-hmm.
everything down, got the roads all paved and ready, and we're like, okay. And then in January 1st, 1892 is when they opened Ellis Island to like let everybody in from the other countries. So it's almost like they were
Interesting.
like getting it ready for that
Preparing it all.
100
Yeah.
years. Like, okay, let's get rid of every single thing that's going to give things away,
Interesting.
and
I
then
never
we'll
even
let
thought
you
about
all
that.
in.
Yeah.
I think that's so
Hmm.
crazy.
That is very
I don't know.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also was going to say, so there was a law put into place. I don't remember what year about the blueprints, right? So I was looking up the blueprints for specifically the Utah Capitol building, and it said, "Oh, this was all digitized recently." And then it took me to a link, and I went to the link, and then it said, "Oh, page is not found." And it's like,
Hmm.
it's just too convenient that things are just never available, and like, and the thing
Oh,
about
yeah.
blueprints is like, how can we even prove? That's even in our day and age, it's so hard to prove if things are real because
Yeah,
it's like
it is.
even like in our phones, a picture, you could have a picture that has a date on it, but you can go in and manually change it to a different date. So it's like
It is. It's hard to
it's
know what's
just it's
real
hard to
unless you see it
know.
with your own
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
there's
then there's
just
all
too
the,
no, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just going to say, and there's all the star forts too that
Mhm.
I was like super fascinated in these when we started learning, because it's
Yeah.
like they are everywhere around the world. They're so
Mhm.
specific in the way that
Yeah.
they're made,
Yep.
and they're all the same. So it does
Mhm.
almost seem like it was some universal power source that everybody
Mhm.
like knew how to use
Yeah.
altogether. I think that's
Yeah.
crazy. Those are definitely interesting.
Mhm.
And then I don't know if you have any more to say. Go ahead.
I don't remember.
Okay. um I was going to talk about, somebody had asked about the toilets and like,
Mhm.
why is there no toilets?
Mhm.
Okay, I've always just thought like, okay, I don't know. I have like a million different thoughts, but
Mhm.
like, okay, my lunch break has talked about, this is where I've gotten all my information. If you can't tell, like I listen to him,
I
and then
mean,
that
he's just
other,
so thorough
he's
that
so thorough, and I'm so
Mhm.
like, I love his videos. Um, but he was talking about how, okay, and this is what I believe too. I think all that these old cathedrals are energy, like they had the vibrations and the energy, and I think they
Mhm.
were healing places. Like I truly
Mhm.
think that that's where you went to be healed because you had the organs. And then another thing that I would kind of like to get into more, but also gives me the creeps, is the catacombs, and
Mhm.
how many catacombs have been found underneath the
Yeah.
cathedrals. Okay, let
Under
me,
all cities, like every city has tunnel
Jaimee,
systems.
what? do you think all those dead bodies are from? What is your
I
best
mean,
guess?
honestly, I would guess that the tribulation just
Okay, that's what I think too. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's crazy, but that's what I always think.
I
'Cause I'm
mean, there's
like
just they don't even that's another thing, like you're saying, like, there's all these catacombs. You can look it up, and there's no history telling us what those bodies could possibly be from.
and it's like they're so okay, so, like, it's not even like, "Oh, it's just a room full of dead bodies." No, they're, like, neatly organized to make all these
Mhm.
intricate designs
And
and
why do you
stuff.
think that is, though? Because my thought is if those are bodies from the tribulation, then when the, like, secret societies had to go underground because Jesus was reigning, was that some sort of, like, ritualistic, like, "We're gonna
That's what
use
I've
this
thought.
to" you know?
That's what I always thought, honestly, because it's like it's weird and it seems like ritual, like it's like a ritual, like
Mhm.
a creepy something's not right
Yeah.
with that. I don't think
Yeah,
that
it's
could be
not like a
anything
honoring
good.
them in any way, it's yeah.
No. To, like, take all
Mhm.
their bones apart and organize them like
Mhm.
that
Ugh,
is so ooh. But it's
I
like,
know.
you have that underneath a lot of these cathedrals, and
Mhm.
they say that helps with all the vibrations and stuff. So, I don't know, because
Hmm.
then it's like, well, that could be a good thing. So then I get, like,
Hmm.
not sure what I think, but it is interesting. So I think, like okay,
Mhm.
so going to back to there's no bathrooms is, like, people just say you weren't meant to use the bathroom in there, possibly, you were just meant to go in those buildings,
Mhm.
get all the vibrations and stuff like that, and you were
Mhm.
healed, and then you left. It wasn't, like, somewhere you, like, lived.
Hung out, yeah.
Yeah, and then another idea is that they I mean, toilets are disgusting, and if you don't flush them, they're
Mhm.
gross and could give you all these bacterias, so maybe they had a better system in place
Outside
back
of it?
then. Yeah,
Mm.
like, because, I mean, if you know how gross it is and how bad, like, maybe there was a
Mhm.
better way that wasn't so dirty,
Yeah.
you know?
I've
Which is
also
true.
thought, that if, like, maybe the resurrected saints and things, maybe they were the only ones who did stay there and they wouldn't have a
Yeah.
need for that.
I know,
So,
and I think that's, like, the first thought that I ever had, and I think that's because you told me that. So it's like, that
yeah.
could make sense too. I don't know, there's, like, a lot
Mhm.
of things that could make sense why there was no toilets,
Mhm.
but it is very interesting because there's a lot of buildings without toilets, so it's like,
Mhm.
hmm.
Yeah. Um, Another question that we had was, about the statues are something about are why are all the statues white people? And that's a good point. But the the
I
better
never
point
thought of it
is
like that, to be honest. I just thought that's just the
I
material that they made them out of.
I was
You know
gonna
what I
say you
mean?
can't really tell. I wouldn't have assumed
I've
that,
never
but
thought that
now
before.
so this is just one. This isn't an old world one, but this is just one of the ones they have. But it is always portrayed like that. But
Yeah.
if you go and Google it would take us forever to Google all these pictures, but if you go and Google, I guess I could look up one, but there's plenty of statues all around the world where faces and noses are missing. So
That
was
oh
that,
my gosh.
intentional to hide who and like what kind of cultures were actually creating them, right?
Because I really do think, and maybe people are gonna think I'm nuts, but this is my belief, that all these things that they had, like the lions with the wings, what are those called?
Mhm.
What are they called?
Griffins?
Yeah, griffins, like, I think
Mhm.
those could have been real, like, I'm serious.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that and c because all those old statues, like, they have, like,
Mhm.
all the griffins, they have, like,
Mhm.
angels being portrayed, and so
Mhm.
Jaimee and I have talked about how maybe the angels helped build these buildings because there's a
Mhm.
lot of stories. I don't know, there's so many things to it, but I think that these statues tell so much, and the
Yeah, I
fact
mean,
that,
just look
like
how many have
yes!
noses missing, and to be honest with you, I don't think most of these look like white people. I think a lot of them almost look Asian.
Mm,
Like, look at these
yeah,
ones back there.
yeah,
I mean, some of them do look white for sure, but,
right.
like, you look at, like
Yeah, they don't
where'd
look
it go?
all like white
Like
people.
this one, and there's just so many.
And the hands, that one always
Mhm.
gets me,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
all the
because,
hands, 'cause
the
it had 6
Nephilim had
fingers.
6
Yes.
yeah, 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 it's
I
so
think that's so
crazy.
crazy. There's that one building, and I wish I knew what it was to look it up, but it has, like it's like this, like,
Mhm,
arches with all the
mhm,
different things inside of it, all the different statues, there's, like, a million of them. You know what I'm talking
mhm.
about? Not a million,
I
but it's,
don't know.
like there's, like, 50 different statues, and a lot of them are
Huh. Like
missing.
large or little?
Like, small ones, but it's really,
Hmm,
really cool. That one and it's
yeah.
missing a lot of those. Very
It's just
interesting.
yeah, it's just weird, and I also this is a theory outside of this, but I've always wondered because Yeah, we have stories like what is it? And I wrote it down. In Genesis 19, when they're fleeing from Sodom and Gomorrah and Lot's wife turns around and she turns into a pillar of salt.
Mhm.
And pillar of salt's, a lot of people say it looks like stone after a while because it's, sitting. And so I've always wondered if some of these statues that look so realistic were possibly actually people turned to stone. And because you look at mythology and we know by now that's like you're saying, like the griffins, like I think they existed. Dragons, I think they existed.
Yeah.
Um, but like the stories of like Medusa turning people to stone, or like in Narnia, the witch turns people to stone. In the Bible, she's turned to stone. So like who's to say maybe that wasn't something that happened, And
Mhm.
some of these
Yeah.
very realistic looking
Wouldn't that be
statues,
crazy?
what if they are just people turned to stone or animals,
That's terrifying.
you know? It is scary to think about.
That's scary.
I meant to look this up earlier. I was reading my kids and I are reading, How to Train Your Dragon for school,
Mhm.
and speaking of dragons, because it's always like, people there's just so much about dragons, and especially like, in Asian culture, that's like a thing, and then in our, horoscopes and stuff, right? Is it the horoscopes or
Yeah.
whatever,
That's the one that's in
that
there
they're
that's not a real
included?
animal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's just like, I know they existed, and somebody asked us about dinosaurs, and it's like, to me, the bones that they're finding are either giants or they're dinosaurs.
Yeah,
But
that's what I would think too.
are dragons actually gone? Okay, I can't find it, so I'll just explain it. So, anyways, I'm reading this book with my kids, and it's talking about certain dragons. And I noticed, I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie, but my kids and I watched the movie, and I thought it was interesting that like some of them, they'll go into like sleep for like a long time.
Mm.
But there's some of them are so huge, and the way they're like, the texture of their like skin it looks like rocks. And so like they're hidden and
Mm.
they're like laying dormant almost,
Okay.
until it's time for them. And this book talks about at the bottom of the ocean, there are dragons that stay asleep for like centuries.
Mhm.
And like you'd almost think they were dead. They lay so still. And I was like,
Mm.
that's like where do we get these ideas? Like I feel like they have to come from somewhere, and just looking into mythology and like when I studied it in college, like
Mhm.
there's so much that like like it's biblical, like has references to like biblical things. And it's just like I was reading that and I was like, oh my gosh, is that where the dragons
That
are?
is
Because
weird.
then
Mhm.
in the end, isn't it in the end like something about the seas and stuff? I don't know. I should have done better
I don't
research
know.
before I brought it up, but I was just like, I read that with the kids and I was like,
That is weird.
interesting. You
Mhm.
know? Like, is
Yeah.
that where they are? Because 'Cause I've always wondered, like, they're just all extinct, or are they hiding somewhere? And that would kinda make sense. I don't know
I
when
don't
they would
know.
come back about, but
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
just
guess I just
interesting.
always thought they were extinct at this point, but, I mean, I
Yeah.
wonder the same thing about, like, the Nephilim, like,
Mhm.
where are they? Because
Yeah.
it does seem like a lot of these old buildings have those
Mhm.
gigantic doorways, and they were so huge
Mhm.
inside, it's like, were the Nephilim living in there? But
Huh.
then where did they go? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
There's still a lot of questions. That's why we always say, like, so many people will comment things, and, I repeatedly tell them, like, we're not claiming to have all the answers. We're just
No.
calling out and asking questions of things that just aren't adding up, you know?
Yeah, right. I
Um
think even with the, oh, and then I was gonna say too with the buildings and them being, like, healing,
Mhm.
um, I was reading that the floor is, like the design on it was like a circuit board. Do you know
Huh.
what the Fibonacci sequence is?
I've heard of it, yeah, but
I meant to look it
I
up more, but
couldn't
it
explain
was
it.
just saying that, like, the Fibonacci sequence was in the floor, like, how it's
Hmm.
designed, and so that would have also, with the
Helped
organs
with healing.
combined, helped with
Hmm.
healings, and then it was also talking about, the light therapy because of
Mhm.
okay, so, like, talking about how these cathedrals were made, the
Mhm.
windows and all the
Yeah.
glass and the colors
Mhm.
that they chose are also healing, like, the colors of the lights. I mean, like, we
Oh,
know, like, red light
that makes
therapy is
sense.
so good for you.
Yeah.
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 So, very interesting.
Yeah, speaking of cathedrals, I wanna talk about like the spoken word of God. Okay, let's see. I got it up. Let me just get it going.
The story goes that they started this cathedral in 1856, but they were halted until 1875 when an anonymous Jewish family graciously lent funds to complete it. Out of gratitude, they finished the cathedral and incorporated 28 Jewish stars in the stained glass windows. Here's where it gets interesting. The significance of the number 28 in the Jewish culture really stuck out to me. It is connected to the Hebrew word koach, which means strength, power, and energy, specifically an energy that is equated to that which created the world, referencing Genesis 1:1, when the spoken word of God alone brought our world into existence. Pretty wild, right? If we are living in Revelation 20 and these buildings are actually a remnant of the millennial reign when Satan was bound and Jesus was ruling, what if this one was hijacked? What if these 28 windows are quite literally a window into our past, with numerology pointing to the way in which these buildings were truly constructed? They always have to let us know the truth somehow. Just a theory based on the connection to the number 28, but interesting to say the least.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Hold on. Yeah, I just was like, I've never seen the Jewish star in any of the cathedrals. And then to like what the dead giveaway for me is that they said a random Jewish family freely lended them the money to finish this.
Yeah.
Give me a break. We all know. We all know how they are.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
interesting.
and like it wasn't even, I don't even think in the story that they asked them to put the stained glass windows in there. It was just
Hmm.
like the church did it as like a thank you. But it's
But
just
it's like,
like,
unless you're a Jewish church, why would you put that in your cathedrals?
yeah,
That
exactly.
doesn't
And
make any sense.
why would the Jews want to help them finish this, you know?
Yeah,
Like it
it's
just
so weird.
doesn't really make sense. And again, this is like a founded thing, and it's, to me it's like maybe they found this and they replaced the windows, those specific windows with the Jewish star,
Could be,
you
yeah.
know? And it's just like, and then like purposely did it because they have to like tell the truth, you know? So it's like, how were they really created? Were they created by the breath of God or like the word of God somehow? Or like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I have
just
so
weird.
many thoughts. I wish we could just have been there
I know.
and seen how all
Right?
these were built. That's like one
Yeah,
thing I'm just
because,
like so fascinated by.
well, it's
Like,
also just like even thinking, even if we are right that it was the spoken, like I like, what does that even look like? What is that, you know? Like, I don't know. Is it
I
like
don't
a
know.
wand being put on a piece of stone and boom, there, you know? I don't know. It's very
I
weird.
don't know. I just think there's so many things like, it's like it's funny. My son, he was saying, and he showed me this video before. There's this, and I'm probably going to say the wrong date, but there's this football game, I think from the 80s, maybe the 90s, and he showed me it on YouTube, and it's like they're all playing like an NFL
Mhm.
game, and they look up, and there's like it looks like spaceships in the sky. Okay, this is like the
Hmm.
80s or 90s.
Mhm.
It doesn't look like spaceship. It just looks like lights, from what I can remember. Like weird. I don't know. And so he was asking me today, he's like, Mom, and he showed me this forever ago, so it was very random for him to bring it up again. But he's like, Mom, what do you think that was? And I was like, it was probably drones or something that, and like they tell us, like, oh, we have all this new technology, but I'm sure they had it back then.
Mhm.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So they would have had no idea what they were even
Mhm.
looking at that point.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think for real, like we had all this technology and they're
Mhm.
just slowly giving it back to, but it's like, we're not improving because we should be far past the way that they could build buildings. We should just be
Yeah.
so much further. And
Mhm.
it's like we think, oh, we've got it. But it's like we're not advancing, we're regressing in a lot of
Mhm.
ways.
Oh
So
yeah.
it
I don't even
doesn't make
think that
sense.
we have like the the like attention span to do that. That's the thing is
Yeah,
like
they're
we're
ruining
all
that.
on our phones and watching
Yes.
TV and doing these things. Like, look at this one. I saw this on Instagram and then I looked it up. But this one cathedral, this photo is so beautiful. The inside is it's just so mind-blowing. I can't even imagine if this is how I feel looking at it on like a screen,
Mhm.
what it would be like in real life, you know?
Yeah.
This is the De Braga Cathedral
Oh, wow.
in Portugal. But like look at that is insane, you guys. Like Look at the organs and
Yeah,
every single
that's
detail.
wild. Oh, I
Like,
wanna go
are
to all
you
these
kidding
buildings.
me? I know. I know.
That's wild.
Like, I
That's my dream.
specifically
Whenever my
pick
kids move
places now,
out, I
right?
wanna go all these places and just see all the
Even
buildings. That's all I care
oh,
about.
I actually, I was looking, Alyssa, I don't know if I should mention this, you could cut it out. I was gonna say you might be moving, but,
Oh, that's fine.
um, well, Alyssa might be moving, and so I was looking up, like, um, the road trip, like, as if I'll pass through, and then I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna look up all the different buildings around so we can go check on."
Oh
But it's
my
like every time
gosh.
I plan a road trip now, I have to look up everywhere and see if there's
Yeah,
anything to see
yeah.
because I can't miss it. I don't wanna, if I'm gonna
I
be there, I gotta
know.
check it out.
I know,
But,
it's
like,
like when
the
we just
detail.
went on our road trip, the capital of New Mexico, Albuquerque.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Okay.
the capital
Yeah,
of
I'm like,
Albuquerque,
I should have
their
thought to go to
building is
their
ugly. Mm-mm.
Oh, it's
I
not worth
don't
it?
think it's no, I don't it's not like a old world building.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, very
I wonder
disappointing.
how many old world buildings in America are not. Like, I mean, Capitol buildings are not old world
Probably
because
not
I
that
feel
I
probably
tried
not very
looking them all
many.
up when I was on my road trip, and almost every single one I looked up had one.
That's very interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
don't need to
Which
go
just
there.
shows, like, Rome is everywhere, and this is something this is another random tidbit. I was looking up about pirates one day. I told Elsa, I was looking this up and trying to figure out how do pirates fit into all this because, now I'm like, everything I've ever learned, I wanna know how it fits in or, like, stories. And so I was, like, reading about pirates, and one of the things they say is, like, when the hidden treasure thing was that so we find parts of, like, Roman remains buried all over, right? And so
Mhm.
one of the excuses I saw that they use is putting it on pirates that they would go and loot, like, Roman areas, take it with them, and then they'd go and bury their treasure in random places, and that's why we find
Mm.
some in random places, and I'm like, "Isn't that convenient?"
Huh.
That the reason we find Roman remains in random places is because pirates stole it. Like, what are they stealing whole columns and taking it with them and burying it? Like, give me a
That's
break.
weird. Yeah.
But I just
Oh
thought
my
that was
gosh.
interesting. I'm like, there's always something, like, always stories to somehow cover up the real story, you know?
Okay, this is kind of random, but we went and took the kids to see the new SpongeBob movie because my youngest two obsessed with SpongeBob.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Okay, so it's like SpongeBob wants to be what does he call himself? I don't know. He wants to be like a big boy or whatever he calls himself. He wants to be so cool. So
Mhm.
he's like asking Mr. Krabs, like, how did you become like this? And Mr. Krabs tells him the story. Anyway, he ends up going because you know how there's like the ghost pirates in SpongeBob? The
Mhm.
like you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can't remember what that's called. But so he goes through a portal, which is underground
Hmm.
and then he's in this underworld, and it's like
Hmm.
they're almost like Nephilim, all these weird creatures under there.
That's weird.
It's so weird, and they just had to go through all these things. What was I gonna say, though? Oh, and then okay, so SpongeBob and Badger go through that way, and then Mr. Krabs and Squidward, they're trying to get to him, and they're looking at this map or something, and they're like, "How do we get to them? Where's the way you get to it?" It's at a high school, which I was like, that's kinda weird because I've heard that there's a lot of underground stuff under high schools. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean, we see some of those high school buildings. I think it was JT who showed it. I think
yeah.
isn't the building in 10 Things I Hate About You there in high school, and it's like an insane
Oh,
building?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so it's,
Yeah,
like, crazy because they have to go through this high school, and they go through the locker, and they're all sucked through the portal and get down
weird.
there. I don't know, they're just, like if you guys like SpongeBob, that movie, it kept me interested because I was like, "What are they trying to tell us here?" And my
That's what
husband's
I'm
like, "You're
saying is, like,
so
you're
annoying."
reading these kid stories, you're reading
I
mythology,
know.
you're told, like first of all, mythology didn't even mean, like, fake when that word came about, but, like, that's how we
Mhm.
all interpret it, but maybe none of it's fake,
I
you
know.
know?
And then
That's
so
what's crazy.
SpongeBob had to do all these things, and he basically, like, sold his soul, and then he was gonna
Don't
be
like
locked
that.
down there forever. Yeah,
Ooh,
and then the other pirate that he helped, he got to be like a human again. I don't know, I'm telling you, that had so much
weird.
in it. It was very, very
I
weird.
mean, I love SpongeBob.
I know. My
That was
kids
a
are
good
always
one when we were
watching it.
kids.
I know.
Um,
But anyway, I just
that
was
is
like,
very
"Oh my
weird.
gosh, that was so weird to me."
The things they
But
put in kids shows. Alyssa sent
I
me this
know.
video today. We might do a mini on it, but
Oh, we should.
I
Yeah.
was just thinking like how much is put into our like the shows we watched as kids and it went over our head, you know?
Yeah. Crazy.
Um, Well, let's move on to the dams. I'm not gonna show any pictures of the Hoover Dam that I saw because I think a lot of you have probably seen videos on it. Um,
Yeah, I think that's like a portal, right? Like all the
but again,
dams.
huge. Yeah, I guess I could show well, that's under construction, which it has been under construction, like, where they have these 2 angels, and
Yeah.
it's been under construction forever, and they're taking out the star map that was there, which is just, like, also
I mean,
convenient.
even learning about dams and, like, they're literally, like, made to destroy things. Like, I
Mhm,
never knew that, but under all the, like, man-made dams, all this water that we go to and, like, boat on,
mhm,
there's, like, villages and stuff under there. Like, what were they
mhm.
getting rid of? Doesn't that creep
Not
you out?
even
I was like, "I'm scared now."
that's why I don't we talked about this, how much, like, I hate going in dark waters. I do not like
Ugh,
the lakes anymore, and I used to go to the lake all the time and the ocean, and now it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like,
it
what could
really
I be
does.
touching with my feet?
I
Ugh.
was like, I only wanna go to, like, natural lakes at this point, but I think I
Mhm.
didn't realize how many like and they won't even let you scuba dive in a lot of them, which is like,
Which
"What?
typical.
That's
Yeah, just goes to
illegal." I feel like
show.
that should be illegal, but, like,
Yeah.
Lake Powell is my absolute favorite, like, me and my family have gone there my whole life, and that one's one
Uh-huh.
of the ones that there's, like, weird stuff under, I think, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's
Well,
scary."
even the Hoover Dam, and it's starting to get so low that you can see some of the remains there, which is crazy.
Oh, that's so scary, I don't like
It's
that.
so crazy. And so this is what I thought was interesting. So, like, a lot of us know about the Hoover Dam, but um we had some friends over like a week or so ago, and he does like videography,
Mm,
and he went to the Cooley Dam, which is in Washington, which, mind you, they use hydro energy to power, like, I wrote down all the states that this particular dam helps bring power to. It's not like every area in these states, but most of it.
mhm.
Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. This is a power source for all those states. But
Dang.
what is the most interesting, so he's talking and he's just telling us, he was telling us a story because he's a videographer, and he wasn't in the dam yet. And they do ask you, like at the Hoover Dam, they asked us if we had any guns or a um drone. So
Mhm,
him and his friend who were doing it, like, they sent up a drone, but they were outside of it, and within like
mhm.
seconds the police came, and they're like, "Oh, we're actually here to film a video for the
Oh,
dam."
wow.
But like he
Mhm.
still had to take the drone down. But anyway, so he's talking about, and he's like, "Yeah, it's just like what's interesting is um like
Can you hear my
what is
dog barking?
not really.
Okay, sorry.
But what's in no, you're fine. What like the how they take care of like dams and stuff is under the Reclamation Bureau. I can never say that
Mhm.
word, bureau. And it's just weird. Like, why do they use words like founded and reclamation? Like, you're reclaiming these dams. So
Yeah, that
you're
is very
reclaiming these
weird.
power sources. You're
Hmm,
not creating these. Like,
that
they
is
might
very
be
strange.
building the dam, the actual dam, but it's like, but you're reclaiming the area or whatever power energy source is coming from there.
Mhm.
It's just like that. When he said that, I was like, everything uses like the terminology tells us exactly
Yeah,
what
I
they're doing.
know. Yeah.
It's founded and they're
Mhm.
reclaiming it. Like the
Yeah.
Reclamation Bureau, really? Like that's what's in charge of all the dams? Like
Yeah,
what?
it is very
It's just
strange.
so nuts. Like
Yeah, I agree.
there's just something to everything. Like I just can't even. I'll just never get over it because I am constantly learning things that I'm like it just points. It all points to that they're lying to us every time. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
it just blows my mind. Um, there was a scripture I was going to share, and I don't remember on what. But honestly, I think that's like the gist of it. I had written down um about the Empire State Building, but you can cut this part out too.
Okay.
But I just like I don't know if there's anything else that you want to touch
No, I
on.
think that was everything I had.
I guess we could touch on the World. I have a couple photos of the World Fair buildings, but
Okay.
that's about it.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So the last thing like I got to see on my trip out there, which is funny, I grew up in California and close to San Diego. I never went and saw I actually did see them once when I was an adult, but I it was very brief and I don't remember them. So we stopped at Balboa Park in San Diego, which I just recommend going to my lunch break. They have a whole he has a whole episode on Balboa
Mhm.
Park. But these buildings, all the World Fairs, if you didn't know, they were built and supposed to be just torn down. Like they were just,
Yeah.
they were not supposed to be permanent. But the buildings, you guys, they're just crazy. And they're still standing today. That's the thing. It's like if it was built with these materials that weren't meant to stand,
Right.
like look at these details. This is just one walkway and the arches go down.
crazy.
And I'm sure if you follow our page, you've seen, I've posted a few videos like of them, of this building, but there's just so much details on them.
It's wild.
And again, it's like for this to not be a permanent structure, you've got to be kidding me. Like that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So it was
Okay,
built like
this
at
one.
least 100 years ago, and you weren't gonna have it forever, but it's still standing. It's
Look
made
at
it
all
through
these
it all.
details. I just can't.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy. I know San Diego
It's
has a
just
lot of stuff
nuts.
like that. It's like if I think
Mm-hmm.
back, I could kind of remember it, but I didn't pay attention really. There's
Mm-hmm.
another. It's on the way to LA. There's another city, and my lunch break did a ton, and I really wanted to go. I feel like the city started with an M.
Well, next
I could
time,
be
if we're
wrong.
both in California at the
That's where I
same
want to go
time,
to.
maybe
It's
we'll do a
amazing.
live
Oh
from
yeah.
there.
Hopefully,
That'd be
because
cool.
we're both moving,
And we'll be
then
closer to
we
California again.
can both go to California at the same time and like
Mm-hmm.
do stuff like that because we're both so into it. And hopefully
Mm-hmm.
somebody can watch our kids.
Mm-hmm.
We could go
I mean,
kidless.
they might want to go. I mean, it would be
They might
better
want to go.
kidless to be able to
Yeah.
talk, but
I know,
my
but it'd
kids
be
are
fun.
all
There's just
interested in these buildings.
I know, so are mine. My son would probably be like, "What the heck? I'll just leave
Why
the
didn't
little
you
ones."
take me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
would
I
be fun.
definitely
There's a
want to
lot there.
explore. I also was thinking, and people, you can comment below, but Alyssa and I've been wanting to go. Maybe you don't want to anymore. I don't know, but the Rooted in Truth does a conference,
Oh, like a
right?
conference.
Or like a getaway or whatever. They do it
Yeah.
every year, and you will be there, closer to there, and I will be closer to there. So I'm hoping me and Alyssa can go next year, and if any
Yeah,
of
she
you who
does one
follow
next
want to
year.
go,
We'll be
yeah.
there. That would be so
We'll go and we
fun.
can meet some of you. I think it'd be cool. And then if there's anything cool around, maybe we could like plan to like, I'm
Do
sure there's
they
some
do it
downtime.
every year, or was
I
that the
think
first
so.
time?
No,
Oh.
I think this because I remember her mentioning it
Oh
like
my
2 years
gosh.
ago.
I
Wouldn't that
forgot.
be
I'm
so
gonna be so
fun?
close.
I mean, I already told Alex, I said, I'm going to this next year. So
Okay.
you're gonna have to keep the kids.
Okay, so we're going. It's
So if
official. We're
anybody wants
planning
to
it
join
now.
us, you
It
gotta
was
go.
in October, right?
I think
Is on.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyways, I
It's
guess
a
we'll
plan.
end on that. That's our
Okay.
official invite.
So we just gotta get
Everybody
there.
join us.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
would be fun.
gosh.
Okay.
But all right, that's the end. I hope we didn't miss anything. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like there was if you follow my lunch break, I just feel like
There's so
Alyssa and I have been
much.
hesitant to do like a buildings one because nobody covers it better than him, you know?
Truly, he's just amazing, and he's interesting, and he's funny, and I like his
Mm-hmm.
sarcasm. So I don't know. I love
Yeah.
listening to him.
He does a great job.
He does a great job.
Truly.
If you ever want
So
to come on our podcast, we're here
somebody
for you to join us.
get him to come on, please.
I know.
All right. Well, that's it.
All
See y'all
right.
later.
Bye.